Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for agreeing to allow me to sit in on this hearing.
The gentleman will suspend. The clerk will please reset the clock. Thank you.
And I want to welcome the witnesses and thank you very much for your testimony. It is very difficult to describe the extremism and the radicalism of this legislation when you look at the body of law governing Western water, and when you look at the efforts that are being made on an ongoing basis at the state, local, federal level of the multiple users of water, certainly in our state, from municipal to agriculture to environmental concerns, and across the board, to now come in and simply set off this explosion and decide that all of this law will be pushed aside. That one district with an absolute entitlement mentality will be able to take whatever they deem to be necessary for them to take, and that everybody else will pay the price for that. Mr. Stell, you pointed out that one of the prices will be that we will not be allowed to use best science. Mr. Willardson, you pointed out that the senior water rights essentially are destroyed. Mr. Herrick, you pointed out that all of the other water users in the north and in the foothills will have to pay up in order to try to maintain the stewardship of the delta and the surrounding environments. And Mr. Bitts, you pointed out that all of the salmon problems get worse, and we know that we're on the edge of the final collapse of that fishery. So everybody else has to cast in their water rights, their jobs, their livelihoods, for the sake of a water district that has been living off of federal subsidies, multiple subsidies. I wish they'd just pick one subsidy, but they get crop subsidies, they get water subsidies, and they believe they have an absolute entitlement to this water. No, what they have is a contractual right. And just like when you go to refinance your home, the bank says, you know, interest rates have changed, we're going to have to boost it or we'll lower it, whatever it is. But they want to turn that into a property right. They want to turn that into something that's superior to the standing law in the rest of the state and the rest of the West in our relationships between the federal and the state government. And it's just unbelievable in a stream. And I think that's why the reaction has been so dramatic across all of the interests. Because those of us that have been working in this for a long time recognize that the progress only comes based upon a consensus. And everybody knows that we have a system in California that's dramatically oversubscribed. And any downturn in the water supply and rain or snowpack, and things get difficult for everyone. And you try to figure out how to best share that burden. And that's what's being worked at. That's what the legislature on a bipartisan basis endorsed. And now you come in and you kick over the lantern here and you set the house on fire because you say, I'm tired of this. I want to do it my way. Well, that's pretty friggin' extreme when you consider how hard people are working to try to make sure that we can grow our economy, we can maintain our agricultural base, we can maintain the environment of the bay and the delta systems, and we can maintain a fisheries which contributes significant amount of income to people on the North Coast and in the related industries elsewhere in the state. And the idea that somehow these arguments have been debunked, that you're not destroying senior water rights, that you're not destroying the fisheries, you're not destroying the scientific base, somebody better read the testimony before they make those kinds of statements, Mr. Chairman, because the testimony is compelling, and it's based upon the law, and it's based upon what this legislation in fact does. And I know there's some who don't want to use their voice to speak out because they're afraid of the Westlands Water District, or they're afraid of Kern or County, whatever it is going on here, but somebody better understand that this is detrimental to the entire state for a handful of people who have lived very privileged off the taxpayers of this country for the last 50 years, who have violated the law time and again, and who have tried to take the results of those violations and put the burden on somebody else upstream, somebody else downstream, somebody else in the ocean, whatever it is. But they're not going to take that burden. They're not going to take responsibility for their activities. And so this legislation really ought not to succeed in passing this committee, the House, or consideration in the Congress, because it really violates the kind of cooperative arrangements that people have been working on and in fact have made progress. It's only when one party has come in and tried to destroy that process where we've gone backwards. When somebody's been able to politically be able to reach in and make a power grab and pull back the progress that's being made, then we find ourselves in trouble as we found ourselves through the decade of 2000. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.